You has made your mistake.
Yeah, but
And many mistakes before that.
Wait, I have not...
Many.
Actually, I had...
Many mistakes before that. So, I still has to erase you.
By Grabthar's hammer. What a savings.
Go! Get to the chopper!
I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me. Spartans! Prepare for glory!
Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Fearless with Mark and Amber. We are so glad you're here. This is where we have honest conversations to help you know Christ more deeply, lead your family faithfully, and discern the culture through a biblical worldview. I'm Amber Archer, and joining me is my husband, author, director, speaker, Mark Archer.
Hello, Newman.
Together we're missionaries using media to help people shepherd souls in a world competing for them. You can learn more about our ministry at fearlessfeatures.org. If you'd like to partner with us in reaching families with the hope in Christ through media, visit fearlessfeatures.org to share your one-time or monthly support.
Now, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Now,
Sorry, I didn't know you weren't done yet.
let's get to the conversation.
Oh, whoops.
Duh, Ashley. Catch me outside. How about that?
It's always fun updating.
What happens when you change things?
I know. I like to update.
Today is best day ever.
Okay, so here we are again. I brought something to share.
Oh, okay.
Show and tell with Mark.
Okay. It's kind of like Fun Fact Friday,
Yeah.
but Show and Tell Tuesday.
Show and tell Tuesday with Mark, Nerdy Mark's cell phone museum. Another one of my prized collections showed up.
I think that was in the kids' toy bin.
It was. They like to play with this because this is a Motorola Q.
Do you remember? Do you remember like typing on these things?
Yeah.
I think I still have my old cell phone that was my Apple. It's really small.
Yeah, I still have.
Is it an Apple? No, I don't know if it was.
Yeah. Well, no, the Palm Centro is what we were talking about. That I have one of those somewhere. This is the Motorola Q. This was moving into smartphone where I had this. I remember I had this, and then I went to Mexico for a project and had all kinds of issues with it. It runs Windows.
Okay.
So it's junk. It just it was Windows Mobile. If you remember, Windows Mobile was terrible.
Okay.
And this phone, but I remember because I was with a bunch of corporate guys.
Mm-hmm.
Did
they also have the Windows phone?
Well, no, they all wanted to look at my Motorola Q because
Okay.
they all thought there was a lot of envy going on there. They all wanted to see it.
You had the latest, greatest
I
at
had
the
the latest,
time?
greatest. It's got the little thumb wheel here, and then you press
What?
your mouse in.
Guys, we gotta. Maybe we can zoom in on that. Like, what is this even for?
That's so that you can.
That's a scrolling mechanism.
Scroll up and down, and then
Oh.
you press the button to select, so that you can do it with one
Wait.
hand, and then it's got the QWERTY keyboard.
Did it have the a little stylus pen?
This does not have a stylus.
Okay.
That was the point of the
Look,
scroll.
This is like the enter, I bet.
Scroll wheel and the enter button. Yeah, the selector. Yeah.
Things that kids will never know.
And of course, and it's got the QWERTY keyboard, which is funny because where were we at Menards?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in Indiana, and we have a lot of Amish people, and
we walk on a regular basis.
Right. And so I saw an Amish guy actually with a BlackBerry, and I remember thinking, I didn't even think you could still get those.
Yeah.
But he had one, and man, he was rocking it. So yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to share my Motorola Q. There's several others. I've got more there in the case that I'll get out as we
go.
But the
More
Q,
sharing,
that was
show
a
and
big
tell.
deal.
Uh-huh.
That was the Q was. You could check your email from your phone. That was a big deal.
My, how times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
With that change,
Yes.
we're going to talk about something today.
Yeah. So, and by the way,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to have you change my light bulb.
I'll get back to it.
This is, if you're just
the lava
listening,
lamp.
It's my lava lamp, which sits on my desk. And people have laughed about my lava lamp, and it's just people who don't understand. You have to understand. If you have an edit suite,
I was trying to figure out like
edit suites have to have a lava lamp.
what's the era of the lava lamp?
Oh,
I'm gonna
the
look.
60s
Hang on,
easy.
hang on.
I mean, it's late 50s, early 60s is when the lava lamps became popular. And when I built my first office,
1963.
yeah, my first office, and I had a girl who worked for me, and I was lamenting. I had outfitted the edit suite, and it was a small, couple offices, and then the edit suite, and I was saying I don't have a lava lamp, and I really need one, and so she went garage sailing that weekend. She brought this thing back for me, and so I appreciate it. Thank you, Lulu.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have a lava lamp going while you're editing, and the problem is that the bulbs burn out about every 6 weeks
because you never turn it off.
Well, it's the awesome sauce.
Okay.
You got to keep it moving.
Okay.
So,
you go with your bad self. It's all good.
Love the lava lamp, but it burned out, and I meant to have you change it for me.
I will, dear.
Because my fingers don't fit in.
Right after we're done here.
Okay. I don't know how well this is going to go because I don't have a functioning lava lamp.
That's okay.
So I want, we were going to talk about this, the Higgins report today.
Well, and I think let's just put a little context. So, working on the movie, about 20 minutes away from being, you have 20 minutes left to fill in of the rough cut.
Yeah. So it's
Principalities.
It's kind of hard to think. Layers. Think in layers.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody love cake. Cake's got layers. Parfait got layers. Editing timelines got layers.
Lots of layers.
So, and I think more people understand this now because a lot more people do editing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your base cut, and with a documentary, it's especially relevant to the conversation. The base cut is where you've got all of your base layer of your interview segments cut together. So
of the story.
You can
see the story.
So basically the backbone of the story, and then there's your cutaway shots, which are partially in, and some of them still you got to go hunting for them. We have some stuff we still have to shoot, but the film is around an hour and a half, and I actually have about a 10-minute hole to fill in, and then a lot of sanding
yeah
to do. But it's so it'll be
in a house, the frame will be built.
Yeah, the frame,
the foundation.
Sure. So part of that is going back and listening all the way through to these interviews, and everybody that we interview, we sit with them usually for at least an hour, and there's tons of stuff that is talked about, and you don't always remember what it is that was even said. And one of the things, so Alex Newman, of course, is a friend of ours, and he's been in all of our movies from the Mind Polluters on. And he is just a wealth of information. And one of the things that he talked about in his interview was the Higgins report. Now, I admit I did not know about the Higgins report.
Mm-hmm.
He refers to it as the infamous Higgins report. And now
we see why.
And now we see why. And we wanted to share this with you. And the reason is because as we see things rapidly accelerating in the world, and it's not all good stuff.
No.
There is good stuff that's happening quickly. Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, there's rapid advances in technology that are really amazing. So not everything is terrible, but the bad stuff is accelerating. And we've talked about this several times, so I'll just give you a quick refresher on what's called nihilism or accelerationism. Nihilism is the belief that everything needs to end, annihilate everything. Mm-hmm. Accelerationism goes along with that. And so there's think of those as add-ons to the other isms. So you could be a Marxist accelerationist, for example. A lot of what you're seeing happening with the rise of Islam, and especially right now, what you see, it seems like every other day, we're going to bomb Iran into the Stone Age. Okay, we've paused bombing because we're close to a deal. 2 days later, we're going to bomb them into the Stone Age. Okay, we're going to stop because we're close to a deal. And I hear a lot of people saying, and I understand why they say this. They say, I wish Trump would stop being so dumb and just realize what's going on. I don't think Trump's dumb. I think Trump really understands what's going on. He is a peacemaker, and he really wants to have this resolved diplomatically.
However,
I would too. I think we all do. But the truth is that what you're dealing with in Iran is, I'm not even going to call it radical Islam. It's true Islam. Mm-hmm. You are dealing with accelerationist-minded Islam. They believe that in order to bring about what they refer to as the 12th Imam, which, if you read about who they're trying to summon, basically, it matches the description of the Antichrist, and they believe that they can bring about his return by creating total chaos across the whole world. Mm-hmm. So that's why they just keep doing what they're doing. You can't reason with them. They believe to their very core that their purpose in life is to kill everything, destroy everything and everyone. You're not going to reason with them. That you don't pay them off and get them set in a comfortable Western lifestyle where they settle down and have, a job in a 401k and go, I think I'll live like this because this is more comfortable. They're demonically controlled and inspired, and they want to just destroy everything. That's why you see everywhere where they are taking over, and it's accelerating, that things get worse very quickly. So we have a report here that was written. We wanted to share this to give you perspective on how long some people have been talking about this. This was written by a guy named, is it Rich Higgins?
Rich Higgins, Rich Higgins, yeah.
Okay. And he was part of the first Trump administration.
And let me just say, because we just recently watched a guest speaker out at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. He does a phenomenal job. It was Dr. William Federer, and he breaks down the entire history of our American government and how we lost track of our original governmental design. And he goes through especially the Muslim invasions into other countries and, the rise of Islam and everything. So I'm going to leave a link for that in the show notes. It's very much worth your time to watch and to continue to be educated on these things.
Yeah. You really do need to watch it, people like that. He does such a good job, and he talks really fast. He zips through it, so you really got to be focused.
Yeah,
listen in.
I mean, that's what I told Mark. I said I would really love to have his PowerPoint. I mean, it's not that it's hard to take notes. There's just so much information.
Well, he's covering
that is relevant.
He's covering 1,300, 1,400 years of history in under an hour. So. Yeah. You can study this until you're blue in the face. I mean, that's what I've been studying, between that and the occult and seeing how they all tie together.
Well, but it helps give you perspective. And one of the things continually, when we continue to educate ourselves on history, world events, and studying through the scriptures, what is it? It's Ecclesiastes 1:9. There's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just realize there is a pattern there. This has always been since the beginning.
Yeah.
At Genesis 3, the attack, the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So one of the themes that we talk about in Principalities, and we'll start talking more and more about this as we get closer to having the film done, is what we call the red, green, blue axis. So let me just sum this up. Red, you're talking about the communists, the Marxists. Okay.
Karl Marx.
Think of, now, the easiest way to think of this is just think of the flags. Okay, so red China, Russia. Okay, red always represents communism, the red star. Okay, so when we say red, we're talking about communists. Communists, at the core, all of these isms believe in tyranny and enslavement, and they hate freedom, but at the top of the list is they hate God, and so they hate the Jews, and they hate you, Christian, because you are what the Islam refers to as people of the book. So the red, green, blue axis, it's the so we'll call it the Marxists, which includes communists, socialists, they're all the same. Okay. Totalitarians. The Marxists, the green is Islam. Okay. Every time you see, especially Hamas, when you see the video of the Hamas guys doing their October 7th invasion, for example, they're all wearing green Mr. Miyagi headbands, right? And they're big on their
Mr. Miyagi headband.
Yeah, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Except it's heads on, heads off. And
yikes.
Yeah, that's green. That's Islam. And you look, a lot of their flags use green in it. Okay, they're big on symbology, so don't dismiss symbology just because we've kind of dismissed that in Western culture. They have not. Blue, think of the UN flag. What is the UN? United Nations. It's globalization. So you're talking about the globalists, the deep state.
Isn't the WEF
Yep.
flag also blue?
Yeah, the WEF.
World Economic Forum. Yeah.
And the WHO.
Yeah.
World Health Organization. Yeah. And so while they all seem to be doing their own thing, in reality, there is a conspiracy plot between the three movements in general. The red, green, blue axis united to destroy Western civilization and Judeo-Christian. So Judeo-Christian means the Jews and the Christians, because the American Constitution, America was designed with Judeo-Christian law as the base. And so that's why it's called Judeo-Christian. Okay. I heard somebody, one of these anti-Israel pastors, and he posted something the other day that was just so unbelievably ignorant. And he said, he was saying, we shouldn't call it Judeo-Christian because the Jews had nothing to do with America. I'm going, your ignorance is on full display, dude. That's not what it means. It's because our laws and our Constitution were derived from the Ten Commandments, okay? The Magna Carta. Okay, study some history before you publish another book, please. I'm over these guys. So anyways, let's go back to Rich Higgins. So this is a memo that was written by Rich Higgins in May of 2017. So we're talking almost 10 years ago, okay? It's called POTUS and Political Warfare. Now, I know you have notes on this. I'm gonna read some of my my highlighted excerpts here. Okay, so he's talking about the red, green, blue axis, and he says the campaigns operate through narratives because the hard left is aligned with Islamist organizations at local, Antifa working with Muslim Brotherhood, doing business as MSA and CARE, national, ACLU and BLM working with CARE and MPAC.
Well, and pause. And CARE is who Trump just...
Yeah, he went after them big time. It's the Council on American Islamic Relations.
And labeled them as terrorist organizations.
It's a terrorist front. It's a terrorist front, yeah. And international levels, OIC working with OSCE and the UN. Okay, so recognition must be given to the fact that they seamlessly interoperate at the narrative level as well. Now remember, this is 2017, so this is right after Trump came into office. In candidate Trump, the opposition saw a threat to the politically correct enforcement narratives they've meticulously laid over the past few decades. In President Trump, they see a latent threat to continue that effort to ruinous effect, and their retaliatory response reflects this fear. I'll pause here. What happened to Trump's first administration? They rolled out the Rona, right? Without going into too much discussion about that, we're watching what's happening with Fauci, and basically the lid has been totally blown off this, that all of this was concocted. Why? Because it was the red, green, blue axis. It was primarily the globalists who were saying, let's try this and see how far we can push it. And they pushed it pretty far. Between the mandates, people losing their jobs, the social and political pressure. So that was exactly what he was predicting here, as well as through all of his first administration, you heard Russia collusion, Russia collusion, Russia collusion, which all turns out to be a hoax.
Well, and that was the thing that he specifically was talking about, was because online and social media had become so dominant in a space of sharing information, and so it became this influential warfare and propaganda machine. And so that's what he's warning about, is how these things are going to be used. And looking at it today, and now you have AI, that it's explosion of this.
Yeah. So let me go on here. Here's another highlight. Political correctness is a weapon against reason and critical thinking. This weapon functions as the enforcement mechanism of diversity narratives that seek to implement cultural Marxism, which you've heard us talk about many times. Recognizing in candidate Trump an existential threat to cultural Marxist memes that dominate the prevailing cultural narratives, those that benefit recognize the threat he poses and seek his destruction. For this cabal, Trump must be destroyed.
Okay, and how much are kids taught today about communism? About
the glories of it, they're taught plenty.
I know. So it, people, they sometimes ask and they wonder why focus so much on education? Well, look what happens when you have an educated populace. You don't have to fear things that are coming. You know and understand what you're looking at. There is no reason to be afraid of these people. And this, it's cyclical. There are cycles to all of this, and it's repeated over and over and over again. It shows up from Genesis to Revelation. We see it over and over again.
There's nothing new. This has happened over and over. Now, every time it rears its ugly head, it gets a little worse. And so, fear comes from not knowing what's happening. We are told repeatedly in the scriptures not to fear, and we're also told to not be dumb. So when you understand that these things have a cycle, and also that it's what it is and what they're trying to do, then you can look at it and go, okay. And I also know that 1 plus God is a majority. So if we simply stand up and call them out, listen, if you're afraid of being called names, it's time to
lay that down.
It's time to lay that down and get tough, because you're born on a battlefield, man. This is not.
Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It is important to know what the Word of God says. It is your shield.
Get off of TikTok.
It's your sword. There are many swords.
And start getting into the Word, because that's the Lord has told you everything that's going to happen. Okay, here he goes on to talking about the opposition. He says some benefit from it while others are captured by it, including deep state actors, globalists, bankers, Islamists, and establishment Republicans. Globalists and Islamists recognize that for their visions to succeed, America, both as an ideal and as a national and political identity, must be destroyed.
This is in 2017.
Yeah, let me read that again. Globalists and Islamists recognize, so globalists, we're talking about things like the UN, and one of the other ones that I've heard about is the ICC, the International Criminal Court. Okay, completely fabricated, not recognized by anyone of any legitimacy, but they have established themselves and set themselves up as we're above all nations. We're the International Criminal Court, and they've brought charges against Trump. Why? Because they are controlled by the globalists, and they must destroy Trump. It's not just Trump. It's you, Christian. It's those who look and see through what they're doing and stand against them. If you are indwelt with the Holy Spirit, you represent an impediment to these plans. And that ought to give us courage, not fear, like, oh my goodness, we're surrounded. You have no idea how they are so terrified of strong Christians standing up and calling them out to their face. They don't want to be, they do what they do in the dark because they don't want to be exposed to the light that you represent.
Well, I think that we forgot to tell people who Rich Higgins was.
Okay, go back and tell them that.
Because I think it's important for people to understand the context, because he wrote this in 2017, after writing it, was quickly fired.
By the globalist deep state actors that he's...
Who was in Trump's cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rich Higgins, he was a soldier, a father, a patriot, and national security strategist who spent much of his career studying irregular warfare and how ideas shape culture. Okay, so this guy's been doing this for a very long time. So from serving in Iraq to advising leaders at the highest level of government, Higgins devoted his life to understanding the battles that are fought long before armies meet on the battlefield. And his 2017 memo, POTUS and the Political Warfare, sparked significant discussion because it argued that America's deepest conflicts were increasingly being fought through narratives, institutions, and information rather than conventional means.
If you're listening to this and you've studied warfare at all, you'd be familiar with a book called Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Was written by a Chinese general a long time ago named Sun Tzu. He wrote the definitive book on war strategy. Well, one of the definitive books on war strategies. And one of the things that he says is all warfare is based on deception. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he says every battle is won or lost before it's ever fought because of what you just said, irregular warfare. Sun Tzu talks about shaping your enemy before your enemy even knows what's happening. And what that means is boxing your enemy in to where they have only one choice, and you have put them in a box where they have to do what you say.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't he also the one who says he who cares the least wins?
No. No, that's just kind of a, I don't know who said that. That's something I've said for years.
Maybe that's not a good thing.
Kind of the first rule of negotiation is he who cares the least wins. In other words, whoever's willing to walk away.
Yeah.
That's a rule. It's a negotiating tool. And you see Trump do this all the time. When you see Trump go out and he'll say, I don't know, I think maybe we'll just nuke him, right? That's a negotiating tactic. Except that when you have your opponent off balance and they're not sure if you're actually crazy enough to do it, that's the whole point, right? And so I go back to, it's the same thing I said when Biden stole the election, which was all part of this whole thing. And I said at the time,
which he was big on exposing.
Yeah. And I said at the time, don't count Trump out, because the same guy who wrote the book called The Art of the Deal also wrote a book called The Art of the Comeback.
Yeah.
Right. And whether you like him or not,
politics aside,
I don't care. I don't want to hear about whether you like it. I didn't vote for a pastor.
Yeah.
I voted for a man who can get the job done, and he's getting things done. Does he do everything right? Of course not. He's not Jesus, is he?
No,
he's not.
None of us are perfect. Anyway, carry on. So I just wanted to make sure people understood who Rich Higgins is and was because he died. But
and so because he called them out, and they immediately fired him, and Trump was upset that he got fired, because he was basically saying, hey, warning, this is coming. And basically, if you read this report, and we'll have the link in the show notes, you read this report, it's not that long. It's
7 pages.
7 pages. And you'll understand, because he sums it up very well. Here's another highlight. As a Judeo-Christian culture.
Say it ain't so.
All you
it's okay.
Woke, ignorant pastors who are arguing against this because you hate Israel for some reason. As a Judeo-Christian culture, forced inclusion of postmodern notions of tolerance, is designed to induce nihilistic contradictions that reduce all thought, all faith, all loyalties to meaninglessness. Let's just pause there for a second. All thought, faith, and loyalties are now meaningless. Would you say that we're headed that way? That is because the postmodern notions of tolerance, what has tolerance done to the churches? It's weakened them to where now nobody wants to hear. I don't want to hear from you. You won't even stand up for biological reality, right? So postmodern notions of tolerance was designed from the start to induce nihilistic, destructive contradictions that reduce all thought, all faith, all loyalties to meaninglessness. Group rights based on sex or ethnicity are a direct assault on the very idea of individual human rights and natural law around which the Constitution was framed. That is such a powerful statement. What he's basically saying there is group rights, LGBTQ, minority rights, Islam, all of these groups that claim that they have this ethnic minority, this tribalism, therefore they get special protection, special rights. They are a direct assault on the very idea of individual human rights and natural law. What's natural law? It's those things which cannot be disputed because they were created by God.
Well, and I was just thinking too, back to the history lesson that at Chino Hills from Dr. Federer, and he was talking about especially the rise in Islam from Muhammad, and there were Jews who invited in the Muslims. There were 3 groups who invited them in. Oh, feel sorry for them. They just need a place to go. Well, what happened was they ended up running all of them out.
Yeah. They ran them off, and the ones that were left, they killed them.
They killed the others.
Yeah.
Come in because RPM. First it's religious, then it's political, then it's military.
Yeah.
That's the strategy. It's really you got to watch it. You got to go and educate yourself.
Islam, if you want to know what is the global, the metastasizing cancer on the globe, it's Islam.
Yeah.
It really is. Because Islam brings the sword. They literally control people like demon hordes, and they're mindless.
Well, which is why
they thirst for death.
Which is why we've spent so much time now in Principalities helping show people.
Yeah. individual or human rights and natural law around which the Constitution was framed. This is why there's just this constant assault on the United States Constitution. Transgender acceptance memes attack at the most basic level by denying a person the right to declare the biological fact of one's sex. When a population has 2 + 2 = 5 imposed on it, there are many that benefit. And we could go on and on, but let me just finish by reading off these groups. The groups that benefit from the confusion. Number 1, mainstream media. Number 2,
hey, your clicks pay their bills.
Yep. Number 2, the academy, talking about academia. Number 3, the deep state. And the side note here, the successful outcome of cultural Marxism is a bureaucratic state beholden to no one, certainly not the American people, with no rule of law considerations outside those that further deep state power. The deep state truly becomes, as Hegel advocated, God bestriding the earth. Number 4, global corporatists and bankers, Larry Fink, Bill Gates. Next, democratic leadership. Number 5 or 6, Republican leadership. More afraid of being accused of being called a racist, sexist, homophobe, or Islamophobe than of failing to enforce their oaths to support and defend the Constitution, the Republican establishment accepts and enforces cultural Marxist memes within its own sphere of operations. Trump's success remains an ongoing existential threat to establishment Republicans. Next, Islamists. Islamists ally with cultural Marxists because, as far back as the 1980s, they properly assessed that the hard left has a strong chance of reducing Western civilization to its benefit. Having co-opted postmodern narratives as critical points, Islamists deploy these narratives to strategically blind and then control U.S. decision makers. This is by design and purposeful. By their own hands has been the declared strategy of the Muslim Brotherhood since 1991. This strategy seeks to divide American society against itself with the forced imposition of Islamist objectives on one half of American society by the other half. Now, there is so much more to this. We could go on and
we don't have time for
we don't
today.
have time for, but take time and download this and read it for yourself. And just turn everything else off and go through it and read it with a highlighter. And if there's something that you don't understand, then stop and make a note and say, now I want to understand what this is. Because he uses a lot of terms here that are very brainy. And let's be honest, most of us don't spend we do spend all of our time studying these things.
Hey, but I would say we do so that you don't have to, but
Right.
it is important for you to do it yourself.
Yeah. As long as you have an understanding of what their game plan is. This is their game plan. They're all trying to unite, and they're trying to bring down America and bring down, because America stands in the way of all of their plans, and especially America is the protector of Israel. And so when you hear these cries for, and increasingly people in the church saying, and when I hear these pastors and these people saying, we don't have to support Israel, we don't, they're not the real Jews, and I just think, you have not read your scriptures. You're just not in the Word. I can tell. This is politically driven hatred. You're falling victim to
the propaganda.
To the propaganda
that he's talking about.
He's describing in here.
It is. That's
so
sad.
I challenge you, if you're finding yourself drawn into this, I challenge you, go and read this report. This is nearly 10 years old, and he was predicting exactly what has happened and what is happening on an accelerating basis right now in front of our eyes.
The church isn't called to win the propaganda war. We are called to be faithful witnesses of Jesus Christ. And think about even the Old Testament, they're told to teach it to their children and the next generation and tell of his good works and his deeds. Why? Because people forget, and then they don't know. Again, they don't want you to know God. They don't want you to know the truth. But our weapon is the truth. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and life.
Yeah. And, one of the last thing I would add is doing Principalities. When it's done and you get a chance to see it, you're going to see that we start off talking about the Satanists, and
because that's the most obvious when you think about spiritual warfare.
And it's honestly, it's I think the most bizarre, because they are a clown show. I mean, when I just talking about the Satanic Temple, for example, I mean, what a bunch of bozos. They really are. They have their plan is just to be agitators. Is all they are.
Oh, and it's evident. It's evident they made a whole movie about it.
Yeah. Do you really worry about the Satanists taking over? No. These are frumpy dumpy dorks who like to cosplay with their Baphomet horns. And I'm not saying that there's not some dangerous people. And listen, they're playing with demonic things that they don't understand. The vast majority of them, they're just stupid. They're just stupid losers. Some of them really understand, and I'm not saying that witchcraft is not real. It's real. But what you're seeing the Satanic Temple doing, for example, they're just agitators. They're just losers. That's not the point. The point is that they're getting more and more bold about their mockery. And isn't that what Satan loves to do, is just mock? And so what you see, though, is that leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. The real imminent danger that you have to worry about is the red, green, blue axis. These are the ones that you see that are actually capable and increasingly bold about destruction. The anarchists, communists, the Islamists, and the globalists. The globalists are the ones who were behind the COVID scam, right? They were the ones, and all of these things. So take heart, Christian, because what did Jesus tell us? He said, in the last days, things will go from bad to worse. But you're supposed to stand. You're supposed to stand and keep fighting until the trumpet sounds.
We're called to make disciples.
Yeah.
Let's continue teaching people in the Word of God, making disciples who make disciples, because our King, the King of Kings, has already overcome the world.
Yeah. It's just
Fear not.
We're not going to understand absolutely everything all the time, and you know why? Because you're not God, and neither am I. But he has told us clearly in his word that I saw somebody said the other day, it was really powerful. They said, you're not called to fight for victory. You're called to enforce it. I thought that's actually.
Because we fight from victory.
Yeah. From victory means, listen, we have the book. It's already been written. Everything that has transpired has already been prophesied about. And the next thing to come is He's coming for his church, so you better be found fighting, so that when you hear the trumpet, that means okay.
And isn't it interesting? It's like the Lord knows the end and doesn't start the beginning until he already knows it all. Like,
mind blown. Okay.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, friends. Thanks for listening through to the end, and be sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and share this with your family and friends. Until next time, march on, saints, and be filled with the Spirit.
You can become a spiritual guru on your own, but you just have to tie your shoes, and you just have to know how to eat burritos backwards. Buttered sausage.